I might have to get another glass of water. Have you gone live?
Gone live.
Woo! Sorry, folks. All good?
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're there.
Soups, what time are we on? Oh, it's alright, we've got 6 minutes yet. Excuse me, coughing like that, Dan.
I'll be working on a new membership platform today.
Uh-huh.
Some extra things in there, very excited about that.
Yeah. Ooh, coming back down again.
Needs to be now.
Forearm. Do you remember when we were practicing in France? So, forearm stands, do you remember practicing? Yeah. Hi team! Hi team, hi team. People are popping up left, right and centre. Well done. Get your mats ready. We're going to be starting with Flex 15 very shortly. We've got about 5 minutes to go.
Been a bit too much this afternoon, Jen.
Have you? I've not really eaten that
Well,
much.
a lot of salad, lentils.
I've not had anything since my avocado and tomatoes on crumpets. It's.
Do you know that arugula isn't a salad?
Rocket.
It's a cruciferous, like broccoli and stuff. much better for you.
There you go. Who knew, folks? Who knew?
Like iceberg.
Say that word again.
Cruciferous. When dinosaurs roamed the lands.
I'm going to put on my Insta pals.
We've never really done Insta, have we, wife?
Ah, pretty Leanne. Hi, Leanne.
I was looking at a photo today of like 2 years ago.
Of who?
Just a load of smiley rise people, and so many of them are still coming. It was awesome.
Nice.
It was nice.
Hi, Insta team. Hi, folks at home. What are we going to tell the masses today? Well, what have we got to tell? I've not seen you all day. You've been out and about.
World.
He's in computer world. We've got lots of exciting things coming up with how we are getting some courses up and running and how we can present those to you. Chris is masterminding all of that on his computer, so he tends to go down a little burrow and I don't see him for days and days.
That's why I've got to come and do yoga to like slightly come out of the computer hole.
I've been to the Botanic Gardens with the children, which is very nice. They were busy taking photographs of all the different flowers, and we were smelling lots, and we were bringing some of their science work in and identifying various anatomy in the flowers and things like that. So that was quite good.
I was working this morning from a tree house.
That counts. That's a bit of nature right there, my friend. Yeah. And what else have we been doing? Oh, food shop. Oh. And yeah, just working really.
Food shopping yet,
no, just sends out the wife. I will admit.
That way because
Paul Evans.
About 5 times longer bumbling around the store.
It's a seamless.
Pretty much 100% of the time, I would get to the end of the store and I'd say to somebody, "Excuse me, can you let me know where the bread is?" And he'd go, "Aisle 1."
But you're not allowed to go back to aisle
1. Couldn't do it. I'd rather fast for the next 28 days than 10 Tesco's, I think.
Evening, Paul.
Hello.
Looking outfits today. I love the pilot look.
Yeah.
Only on a special Saturday, you see.
Yes.
For those people that we've got Zoom running as well, and on a Saturday, Chris and I, we tend to wear fancy dress. Although we're running out of fancy dress now.
Oh no.
I know.
Buy more.
Well, yeah, we just have to purchase some more, but I'm not sure.
Deductible, surely. There's no category for that. One for that.
Yeah, I don't know what my favourite's been so far.
I think Aladdin was easiest to do.
Aladdin was easiest. That's our most recent one.
Hulk was the hardest to do yoga in, and the pirate was pretty difficult. He was getting things stuck around everywhere, but I'm doing it dressy, I think.
Well, the puns were better with the pirates.
A pirate jape, a pirate pun.
I must confess, the walking the plank comment.
Yeah. How did I miss that Jen was clearly dressed as Roger the Cabin Boy? You were clearly Roger the Cabin Boy, and I was clearly Seaman Staines, and I just missed. I missed all of that smutty banter.
That's no bad thing.
We might have to redo the class. Right, we have got 50 seconds.
We have.
I'm going to clean the fish tank during fusion.
Uh-oh, what a wimp. He should be doing fusion after this, shouldn't he? Not just doing flexing out. He should get his...
Look after the fishies, Jen.
I know, you have got to look after the fishies. Very true. Very true.
Right, I'm going to snuggle in.
He's snuggling in. We've got 30 seconds to go. So, yeah, I'll introduce flex for everybody. If you've not done flex before, then it's a nice, strong, challenging class on balance and building up lots of strength with a bit of fun in there as well at the end with our wildcard poses. You can go online to rise.co.uk/online and get the Spotify tunes which accompany our session. Okay, we've got 5 seconds to go. Grab yourself a block, a strap or something like that if you need it and head on down onto your mat. Hey one and all, welcome to Flex 15 with Jen and my sidekick Chris. We are starting off with a wide leg child's pose today. So flex, for those people who have not done this before, nice strong class. You can take modifications and make it a little bit easier along the way. I'll give you lots of options. So starting to think about while we're going in child's pose, I always like to take my knees a little bit wider. It makes it more accessible, but if you prefer to have the knees together, that's fine. So tops of the feet want to be down on the mat. We want to slide those fingertips forwards, allowing the forehead to rest down on your mat, lengthening out through the spine. You can always release the hands out behind you, but I like to stretch into the shoulders a little bit here. So you can press into the fingertips. It's good practice this for your down dog and plank, pressing into the fingertips and sliding your shoulder blades towards the base of your spine. So creating a bit of activity through the arms, getting the arm muscles nice and warmed up. Also breathing a bit of space into the back body and into the hips here, as well as releasing those shoulders. So we're just going to take 5 full rounds of breath here. So sometimes you'll hear people mention about setting intentions in yoga, and it can be anything really. It could be something related to you and your practice. It could be that you want to share the energy that you're building here with somebody else who might need a little bit. It could be really anything you desire. So if you want to set an intention, go for it. My intention is not to die. No, I'm joking. My intention is, what's my intention going to be today? To not give myself a hard time if all the poses don't go to plan. I know I've got a few niggles here, there and everywhere, so I'm just going to take it as it comes and relax into my practice a bit more today. So not beating myself up if things don't go quite the way I want them. So just give me another warm breath, full round in through the nose, and then just a little sigh out through the mouth. Good stuff. Inhale, press up into a tabletop. So bring the knees underneath the hips, walk the hands back under the shoulders, and let's take a little cat-cow flow. So before you start, let's make sure that the index fingers are facing forward. Some people like to turn the hands right out, but that's not going to create the correct alignment through the shoulders. So bringing the fingertips to face forward, squeezing the upper arms in, squeezing in the belly nice and tight, and making sure the hips are over the knees. We're going to take a breath in, using the pelvis to tilt the sit bones up towards the sky, dropping the belly down towards the ground, and squeezing to lift the gaze either forwards or maybe a little bit further up. Rounding, squeezing the belly in, so like you're drawing your navel in towards your lower back as you arch through the spine here, creating space in the shoulders and starting to get those abs fired up as well. So inhale to lift. You go at a pace which suits you. You might want to close the eyes on this one as well. Always feels nice with the eyes closed. You can really notice how your spine is feeling today as we stretch one way, then the other. Okay, making this your final little release, wherever you are. And then working back into that nice stable table, squeezing the belly, nice flat back. We're just going to work into the wrists a little bit. So keeping the, turning the hands out towards the sides today. Okay, we're just going to rock from side to side. So we're working on the flexors and the extenders through the wrists, just gently giving them a little bit of a stretch. So you're only going as far as you feel comfortable, obviously, just to warm up. You don't want to take this too far. You don't want to lock the elbows out here either, so just make sure you've got a little soft bend there to protect. And then when you're ready, turning the fingers back towards yourself, back towards your knees. You can move the weight backwards and forwards this time. So keep a little engagement through your belly as you're doing this, using the crown of the head to lead, and then the sit bones to move you backwards. Perfect, well done. Swizz those fingers back towards their original position underneath the shoulders. Let's have a play around with lifting the heels of the hands, so these flat bits next to the thumb off the ground. So you can take one at a time if you prefer, just lifting up one side, so fingertips are pressing down into the mat and we're lifting up the heel on the right hand and then on the left. If you can take both at the same time. I've got freaky fingers which do bending in funny different directions, so I find this quite easy, so much so that I can take this from a plank position, which is strong. And then obviously it varies from person to person. You know, Rosie can knock out a beautiful firelock. I can't. So here's my show just right here. It's all about the fingers.
That's your special talent.
That's my special talent. There we go. All right, make your way back down to table. Let's find downward facing dog. Inhale, tuck those toes. Exhale, lift the sit bones high. Having a look at the feet whilst you're down here, see if you can bring them to hip distance apart. Or if it's your first down dog, you might want to take them a little bit wider. You can bend one knee, then the other. Just allowing yourself a little bit of space. If you feel quite tight in the shoulders today and the arms, maybe walk the hands a little bit closer to the front edge of the mat. This will allow your chest to melt down towards the thighs a little bit more. And just take that longer stretch out. So if you think more about how this down dog feels, don't worry what it looks like. Okay, all the practice that we're doing today should really be about the sensations that we gain from the poses rather than how we potentially might look on Instagram. So keep pressing down through the fingertips, lift that spine nice and high, find length, a bit of decompression for the spine here as you pedal out those legs. So if, like Chris, you want to stay perfectly still, that's fine as well. Well done. So taking the gaze towards the thumbs, let's walk those toes forwards, coming into a halfway lift. So keep the legs quite bent if you're not feeling those hamstrings are very open yet. Take a halfway lift, taking the hands onto the shins, or if you are feeling quite open, you can keep the fingers down on the ground, but just making sure we've got that nice flat back, squeezing in the belly here, and then releasing down into your forward folds. So letting gravity assist you here, just rocking the weight forwards a little bit so the hips come over the heels, and you'll really feel that the back of the legs switch on fully there. So take another deep breath in, and then release, letting the crown of the head melt down. And it doesn't matter if your forward fold is really high up, it really doesn't matter. Just accept that that's where you are today and it's fine. Feel free to sway around as well in your forward fold. So just taking quite a few breaths here just to open up through the back body. And then making your way back to center. Let's find some height, bend those knees and sweep up the arms. Nice and tall, taking the fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling or the sky if you're outside, dropping the shoulder blades down the back, maybe squeezing the glutes, taking a little back bend, and then bringing hands to heart center, flowing down past your beautiful heart all the way towards the floor with the hands and taking a step or a hop back, your choice. Making sure that hands are underneath the shoulders and making sure that the legs are in line with the hips. Take an inhale, take the weight forwards and lower down. Bring the elbows to point behind you towards the back end of your mat. Hovering above the ground here in this low plank hold, this chaturanga hold. For 3, finding length through the body. Press the heels away. 2, 1. Good. Inhale, lift up through the front body. Open up through the chest. Press the chest between the upper arms. Let the gaze lift ever so slightly as you open the front body by dropping the hips down a bit more. And another breath. Inhale, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, down a bit more. Good. Exhale, roll over the toes back into downward facing dog. So think about what we're doing with the spine. We're flexing and extending. So starting to get lots of muscles involved already just through this little bit of warm-up. Okay, let's take the weight towards the toes again. So you can option here to hop if you like. Think about keeping the legs quite straight and keeping the hips lifted. A bit like you'd be thinking about moving into a handstand. Find that halfway lift and then exhale, release. Find your forward fold once more. So as before, you can have a little sway round, if that feels good. This is another example of a semi-inversion. So you get all those benefits of hanging upside down, lots of juicy blood flow around the upper body here. Bend those knees when you're ready. Let's rise up tall, reach up. So as ever in this flex 15 that we're doing, start to flow down as I chat. We're going to start off in a plank sequence. So hands come down underneath the shoulders, stepping or hopping back into your full plank, or your kneeling plank is also an option here. Now with your kneeling plank, what we try to avoid is coming into table. That's way too easy. Slide the knees out even if it's a little bit, and then take the weight forward. Same with your plank. So nice strong hold in plank. We're going to take a Spider-Man leg, drawing a semicircle with the left knee all the way around to the left elbow, and then releasing. We're going to do that 2 more times on this left side. So squeeze, see if you can contact the elbow or just above the elbow on the upper arm with that left knee. Final time. And release back to center. Good, let's go on the right. So drive round with the right knee to the right wrist, keeping that right leg lifted as you send it towards the back edge of your mat. Last one. Drive it over. Well done. Now, making sure the right hand's underneath the right shoulder. We're going to open out into a side plank. So you've got kneeling option, right knee down, and you've got that squeeze and lift of the side body here. We've been working towards a bow variation of this pose. So if you've got the balance with you today, it's a bit like the force, I always think. Taking the hands around your left foot, bringing the heel to the bum, stretching out through the quad, but keeping the knees in line so you're not opening out too far. So keep pressing the hips forwards, find that long, straight plank line. For 3, we've got a wild thing next. 2, 1. Pop the left foot behind you and squeeze as you lift up through the hips. So firing up the glutes here, letting the left arm trail over behind you. If you want to have a go at our fancy pants variation, we're going to take the right leg, lift it onto the left, and then start to squeeze and lift. So we're really opening out into our front body here by working the back body a little bit harder. You can stay in either variation, or you can take a kneeling variation, your choice. For 3, building lots of shoulder strength. 2, and 1. Well done. Take the right foot down, left hand down, back to your plank. Let's side plank on the other side. So left hand down, inhale, open up towards the right long side of your mat now. And you can stay here or take kneeling variation, or indeed any other variation of side plank that you fancy really. We're working on this bow one if you can. Making sure that the left wrist is underneath the left shoulder. And we're feeling strong. Well done. Hold, hold, hold. Get those hips a bit higher. 3, 2, ready for our back bend. And 1, release the right foot. Inhale, squeeze and lift. Open up through the chest, through the shoulders, through the hips, through the quads. Beautiful little stretch here. Option to take that wrap around left leg over the right leg. You're sitting cross-legged. And then if the balance is there, you can start to lift up through the hips. So really press into that grounded right foot. For 3. Let that breath flow. Don't hold the breath with concentration. 2. And 1. Let the gaze come down. Let the right hand come down, swizzing back to your downward facing dog. We're going to hop to seated. So you can walk the feet forwards, or you can practice lifting the hips and floating the legs. We're going to take an L-sit to a reverse table. So lots of work for the back of the arms, the triceps, as well as the pelvic core here as we squeeze and lift. Here we go. Inhale. Squeeze up, find reverse table or reverse plank perhaps as you release. Coming back, swinging the hips back, but controlling that swing, keeping the bum lifted off the ground. Again, inhale, squeeze up. So you feel this across the front of your shoulders maybe. A nice stretch out there as well. Bringing the toes to the ceiling. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, release. Well done. Take the bum down to the ground. Cross those legs. Float forward. Find your plank once more. So we're going to take a side plank once again. Right hand underneath the right shoulder. Opening out to the left-hand side of the mat. We're going to take some hip dips. So if you wanted to take this from a forearm, if your wrists are feeling a little bit tight, you can lower and lift and lower and lift from forearm, or the same from your full plank if you're feeling like the arms are strong today. Just give me 2 more. 1 more. Excellent. Come back through centre. We'll have a little break from side plank with some full press-ups. Here we go. Knees is your option. Hands under shoulders. Take the weight forward. Narrow press. Lower down. Mwah. Kiss the floor. Back up. Take the hands wide. Inhale. Take the weight forward. Lower down. Mwah. Kiss the floor. Lovely. Back into centre.
It's a lovely kiss line.
Narrow. And here we go again. Lower down. Mwah. Kiss the floor, beautiful. Take the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Open out to the right. We're nearly finished with this plank sequence, folks. So remember, forearm or full arm extension as we lower down with the left hip this time, reaching up and over with that right arm, developing strength down the torso for another 2, and a final 1. Awesome. Take that right hand back underneath the right shoulder, finding our full plank or our kneeling plank. Let's transition. Take the weight forwards, low down, low plank. Inhale, up dog. We've got balance next. Exhale, down dog. Always a surprise for me whether I have the balance or not on a practice to practice basis. Squeezing and lifting and lengthening through the spine, through the legs for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Taking the gaze forwards. Make your way forwards a few little steps or a nice hop, trying to land with relatively straight legs, but obviously the knees are slightly bent. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release down. Enjoy your forward fold for a second as I explain where we're going next. So we're coming into a wide-kneed toe stand, so a bit of workout for the feet and the ankles. So if you can, bring your feet closer together whilst you're in your forward fold. And then from here, we're going to start to lower the hips down behind us as we roll out into a toe stand. So the knees are coming out nice and wide, so about mat distance apart as we come down onto the balls of the feet, and we're really squeezing the heels together here. So from here, we're going to take a hold, nice long spine, so we're finding a good tall torso. If you want to, you can start to squeeze and lift. Inhaling all the way up. And exhaling all the way down. So really working into the inner thighs here. I'm going to take 2 more of those. You can continue to hold your toe stand. If you want to bring the hands to the floor as well, if you're feeling very wobbly, that's fine. Okay, so you could take the hands down. 1 more lift. Inhale, squeeze those heels together. Really feel that engagement through the inner thighs. Well done, everyone. Lower down. Awesome. Perfect. Well done. Okay, take the hands down and just allow the feet to swivel around so the toes are facing forward. Inhale, just lift up with the sit bones, so you're in that halfway lift, and then heel toe the feet to hip distance apart. Okay, sweep up with the arms, find chair. Inhale, and exhale, down we go. Perfect. Inhale again, lift. Exhale, down we go. You can get the arms involved as well if you want to flow the arms out behind, extend through the triceps. Inhale, lift. Keeping the legs nice and stable. If you can, exhale, release. Final time. Okay, we're going to come up now as we inhale. And then we're going to just bring the feet back together. Then we're going to take a chair pose, but a bound angle. So taking the weight onto the outer edges of your feet, if that's possible. If this doesn't work for you, you can always hold a normal chair pose. Taking hands to heart center to start with. Inhale. And then again, just as before, as we came into our toe stand, we're taking the knees out nice and wide. So we really want to press the soles of the feet together, but keep the chest lifted. So we're not folding forwards, okay? We want to keep a little bit of support here in the torso. So just coming down with the sit bones as much as you can. Now you can interlock the hands behind the back if you can, stretching out through the chest. So this is a beautiful stretch all the way down the outside of your ankles and your feet. So strengthening there may help you if you go over on your ankle, if those ligaments are nice and stretched and strong, less likely to cause lasting damage. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Perfect. Inhale to rise up. Fantastic. Now, if you've got a block somewhere nearby or a book, at this point you might want to grab it. I'm going to go for a standing half moon on the left foot first of all. So taking the left foot down, just feel grounded through that foot, big toe, little toe, heel, making that nice stable foot and starting to float your right foot out behind you. So start off with, keep the hips facing forwards. As you start to get a little bit lower, you might be able to put your hands on that brick or that book or whatever it is you've got. Okay, so taking both hands down. just to start off with, until you feel like you're balanced. I want you to kick up nice and high with that right heel. So we're really starting to engage through the glutes and the back of the leg. You can choose to point the toe if you want, so just have a play with pointing and flexing the foot and see what you feel most comfortable with. It really doesn't matter. It just activates different muscles in the legs. Now that left hand wants to come just in front of that left foot. We're going to think about opening out this top hip. So start off by taking the right hand to the right hip. Take a breath, inhale. As you exhale, rolling the right hip on top of the left as you move through the body to face the right hand side. Now you can stay here, or you can start to extend that right arm. So the gaze can travel over towards the right hand side of your space, or up towards the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. Think about that expansion through the chest and through the legs, moving them in 4 different directions here. Crown of the head leading one way, shooting that energy all the way down out of that right lifted foot. Perfect. For 3, we're going to transition into a standing balance next with a leg extension. 2 and 1. Take the gaze down. Soften that bend that left supporting leg as you inhale, rise up. Now option here just to take a wrap around with the hands around that right knee. Now that left leg might be starting to fatigue a little bit. That's all right. It's absolutely screaming, says. I'll go with a little bit of fatigue. Chris has gone for absolutely screaming. You can work on your leg extension if you like here. You could take a bind around the right toe and extend from there, working into a bit of hamstring work. But the key thing is I want you to find height through the pose and not lean too far forwards. So breathing. Full breaths in, lovely. For 3 and a 2. Nice work. Keep lengthening out. And for 1, perfect. Can we float back down into a revolved standing half moon this time? Bring the right hand down instead of the left, back onto the brick or onto the floor itself. Usually a brick is needed on this side. Again, kick up high with that right leg. Think about slowly moving the gaze over towards the left hand side as we twist that belly button over towards the left. So think about moving the belly button rather than just opening out through the shoulders. We want to find that full body rotation. Stacking that left arm above the right if you can, and remember to kick up as high as you can at the back with that lifted foot. Steady that breath. I know it's challenging and I know that left leg is on fire. We're going to release into our final triangle pose in this section next. Deep breath in. And out. Take the gaze down, release the left hand and float your right foot to the back of the mat, taking a turn out of the right toes. Windmill the arms up and over. Readjust the feet if you need, heel to heel or heel to inner arch. Tucking the pelvis under, floating the arms out wide. Inhale, exhale, take that little reach forwards. Left finger's reaching towards the front edge of your mat. Before, straight legs, Chrissy, triangle pose. Releasing the left hand down. And right hand towards the sky. So taking a full, another expansive pose, really stretching out, fingertip away from fingertip. A lot of people in this pose try to get the hand down to the floor, and in doing so, stick the bottoms right out. It's much better if you lift up and tuck the hips under, even if you're coming right up with that left hand next to the knee, it doesn't matter. Think about that openness through the side body, through the shoulder. Give me a couple more breaths here. Feel that energy in the legs as you press away through the outside edge of that right foot. 1 more breath. And then as you exhale, take the gaze down, soften the front knee and windmill your hands either side of your left foot. Step it back, find down dog, stretch out there. Reset for 3, 2, and 1. Make your way towards your hands. Soft landing, inhale. Exhale, let's take a little fold. Inhale, rise up. And just taking it halfway. Using the block or the brick once more. I'm going to work onto that right leg now. So think about, you can start here in this halfway position, or you can come up all the way up. I know Chris was on his way up, that's fine. So it's taking the weight into the right foot. Spread out again through the foot. Take the weight into the right side of the body. Try not to lean over to the right though, of course. Start to seesaw forward. Coming through warrior 3. As we reach towards our standing half moon. So taking the right hand down, taking the left hand onto the hip. Inhale, exhale, don't rush it. Take a pace which works for you. Bring in the left hip over the right as much as you can whilst extending and lifting through that left foot. Find strength. Maybe then start to open out with that top arm. So the reason that we keep our hand on the hip to start off with is it encourages that rotation from the torso rather than from the shoulder. You can look to the side, you can look to the ceiling, you can look down if you're feeling wobbly. And you can always bring your left hand down if you prefer, just taking a modified warrior 3. If the balance just isn't there today, that's cool. One more breath here, inhale. And I've got our standing leg extension. Perfect, let's go. Bend that supporting right leg. Move the gaze forwards. Challenge the balance. Kick out if you want to with that left foot. You don't have to take a bind. You can just hang out here, really focusing on lengthening through the spine, squeezing in the belly, finding that strength through that right leg as well as through this left quad to lift up. Remember, you can take a bind if you wish behind the back of the thigh or around the big toe or around the foot. You can always use a strap here if you had time. Nice. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. We're ready. Let's go. Twist that half moon out for me. Take the left hand down just in front of the right foot. Kick up high with the left. You ready? Open out with that right arm. Think about that belly button transferring over towards the right hand side. Lovely job. Trying to open out as much as you can through that top shoulder after we've moved as much as we can through the waist. For another 3. Can we get that back foot a bit higher? Yeah, we can. 2. And 1. Bring the gaze back down to the right foot and float your left foot to the back of your mat, turning out the toes. Inhale, windmill up. And taking those 2 straight legs, right toes forwards, left toes out to the side. Take a breath. As you release that breath, start to send the left hip back and the right fingertips forwards, windmilling the arms. So as I said before, don't worry about coming down too low because it makes your bottom stick out. If you've got something to rest your hand on, you can do. You can always use your shin there if you need to. But think about pressing forwards, opening up through this left side. And if you're feeling wobbly, looking to the floor. Or if you're feeling okay, I'm just going to turn my hand like that because I'm being dazzled by a bright spot. For 3, I'm seeing stars. 2, 1, good. Take the gaze down, soften the front knee, windmill the hands, frame the front foot, do the hokey cokey, step back to down dog. Inhale, let's transition. Weight comes forward, squeeze in that belly. Kneeling is your option, low plank. Find your up dog on the breath in, and then release into your down dog on the breath out. Okay, we're going for a lunge now, crescent lunge. Inhale, right foot high. Exhale, knee to nose, and gently placing the right foot between the hands. We're going to take an interlock behind the back as we lift. So inhaling, exhaling, coming down through the hips. Now if you want to drop onto that back knee, that's fine. Pressing away, trying to straighten out a little bit through that back leg if you can. Making sure that the right knee is in line with the right hip, maybe sweeping the arms behind you and taking that squeeze through the chest. Now you can, if you like, start to take the gaze up towards the ceiling. If you prefer to have the arms up high, you can always take that variation. Whatever works for you today, just let those hips head south. Keep the legs strong, keep the knee in line with the right hip. Perfect. For 3. And 2. Looking good at home. And 1, floating the hands down, dropping the back knee down if it's not already there. You can keep the toes tucked or you can untuck them. I prefer to untuck. We're going to take a breath, lift the chest, inhale, and exhale. We're going to flow our way back into our half splits. Toes can be down or toes can be lifted, finding length through this right leg. Try to avoid swinging the hips around. A lot of people end up wonky in their half splits. If you have got full splits in your practice and you want to work towards those, now is the time. You can start to slide the right foot forward and the left leg back. I'm just going to grab my blockaroo. So if you're down quite low and you've got something underneath you, it allows you to take weight out of the hand. So no pressure to do so whatsoever. I want you to think about developing that mobility through the hips, but that comes along with your hamstring flexibility as well. So taking the weight through the hands if you need to, hands to heart center if you don't. Well done. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Another 2. Inhale. Maybe close the eyes, especially if it's a challenge. Find that breath. Feel that breath. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, juicy, well done. Press up into the hands, take lots of weight into the hands, maybe move the block. We're going to walk round to the left-hand side of the mat, coming straight into a wide leg forward fold. So the feet want to be parallel, or maybe even slightly turned in on this one. We're going to take the hands onto the hips, and just hang out here in this halfway lift variation. So this is going to really fire up the lower back muscles. Okay, so you get that nice stretch out through the backs of the legs, but you're also going to have to work quite hard through the belly, through the abs to extend and keep this hold. If you want to make it a bit harder, float the arms out as well. So keep the gaze down, think of lengthening through the back of the neck. Hold in there, nicely done. For 3, 2, 1, float the hands down, soften the knees a little bit as you walk the hands round to the front edge of your mat, bringing the right knee above the right ankle once more. We're going to float up into a runner's lunge. Inhale, lift up, squeeze the palms together behind you. You might even want to press them together, taking a reverse prayer pose. If you can, bring in the palms all the way together as you take that diagonal lean through your runner's lunge. If that doesn't work for you, just keep the arms long. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Activate. Well done. For 3, 2, and 1. Drop the left hand down inside the right foot. Turn the right toes, a quarter turn, towards the right side of your mat. You might even want to shuffle the foot back a bit as we drop down with that left hip, releasing the right arm with strength to the back edge of your mat. So really working into your right hip and the outside of the left hip here. So you're on the outside edge of that right foot. 2 more breaths, building strength in that left arm and shoulder as well. 1 more breath, inhale. Exhale, float the right hand over, back underneath the shoulder, step back, find your dog, stretch it out. If you need to give that left wrist a little wriggle out, do so. All right, let's go, crescent lunge, left side. Inhale, left foot sweeps high. Hips are square to the floor, bring the knee to the chest on the inhale and then floating with control between the hands. Okay, inhale, rise up through the arms, drop down onto that back knee if you need to, taking your crescent lunge, any variation. Remember, you can interlock the hands behind the back if you like, or just take the arms up nice and high, maybe taking the hands together. The danger here of taking the hands together is that the shoulders will come right up next to the ears. So if the shoulder flexibility is not there, just keep the palms facing. So any variation of your crescent lunge, finding a baby back bend here as we open up through the front body. Keep pressing away through that back heel if you can. Feel that heart swell in the chest for 3, 2, maybe a little bit deeper. And 1, take the gaze down to that left big toe, framing the left foot, drop down onto that right knee and extend away into your half splits. Nice work. So think about length through that left leg, length through the spine. You can creep your fingertips forwards a little bit if that feels okay. So I'm not aiming to get our head on our knee or anything like that for now. I just want you to think about lengthening through the spine. Option to take your full split if you're feeling it. Nice, deep, steady breaths. If you don't feel like bringing the hands down at all, if you've got 2 books, you can always take them underneath. If you've got really tight hammies, underneath the hands like I'm doing here. We might be able to see that better on that camera. Okay, so like this, but don't worry. Wherever you are, that's where you're meant to be today. Just rock it. Inhale. And exhale, well done. So we're taking that wide leg forward fold once more. So we're going to tuck the back toes, take the weight forwards, walk the hands around. So we're taking that fold. So remember, we want the feet parallel, or maybe you've turned in ever so slightly with the toes. Hands onto the hips, extending the arms out. Nice, strong forward fold. Working the upper body hard here. Full deep breath in and out. Don't forget to activate the arms. We don't want floppy arms. See if you can squeeze the quads a little bit. Can get those kneecaps lifted. There we go. Engage those legs. For another 3, 2, 1. Release the hands. Soften the knees. Come through center. Back into runner's lunge. Inhale, rise up. Strong core for this one. Got that slight lean now. Press away through that back heel. Taking a squeeze of the arms behind you if you like, and then open through the chest once more. You might want to find a flow on this side. Inhale, rise up with the arms. Exhale, release behind you. Squeeze those abs. You might want to take the variation that Chris is taking. You lift up and you press away on the exhale. See how fiery you're feeling tonight. See where your practice is taking you. One more, inhale. And exhale, nicely done. Are we ready for that twisted lunge? Float the hands down. Right hand inside left foot. Turn the left foot. You might want to bring it back a little bit depending on that hip flexibility. Drop the right hip down. So we're making sure that this right hand's underneath the right shoulder as we extend away with those left fingers. Taking the gaze to follow the fingers if we can. So the hip might come all the way down to the floor. It might not. See how it feels. For 3, 2. Hope you're not holding your breath. And 1, good. Come back through center. Left hand plants underneath left shoulder. Step it back. Find down dog. You can stay in your down dog if you like. I'm going to take a transition. Take the weight forward if you're joining me. Low plank. Inhale up dog. Exhale to down dog. Well done. Making our way to seated here for our final section, our core section before the wild card. So coming into a bound angle, we're going to take the soles of the feet together and releasing all the way down. Spine is nice and long on the mat. We're going to take a bound angle sit-up. So you've got the option of taking the arms up over the head and squeezing your way up. You might come all the way up, or you might just want to take a little pulse, pulsing between for 3, 2, 1. Release all the way back. And again, for 3, really firing up those abs, 2, and 1, well done. Releasing the feet back flat onto the floor, heels next to the bottom, so you can tap them with your fingers. And we're going to take the left leg into the air, we're going to take 2 lifts and lower through bridge. Now if this is too strong, just take both feet to the floor. Are we ready? Let's go. This is going to destabilize you. You're going to have to really work those abs and lower back and glute muscles quite hard. Float up with the arms as well if you're feeling really like a challenge today. Lowering down with control. So don't let gravity just plonk you down on the floor here. Inhale, squeeze to lift. Exhale, lower down. We're going to take 1 more because it's fun. Inhale, rise up. Here we go, a little bit higher this time. And exhale, release down. Nice work. Swap it over. Left foot plants, right foot lifts. Inhale. Let's go. Float those hips up to the sky. Woohoo! Inhale. Feel that nice stretch out through the quad as well as you lift up and press through the front of those hips. Inhale. Nice work. Exhale, release those abs on fire. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Final time, inhale. And release on that breath out. Perfect. Release that right foot back down to the floor. And we're going to take little taps. See if you can get your fingertips to your left pinky. Get the shoulders off the mat. To center. To the right pinky. So keeping those shoulders lifted. Working through the obliques now as we tap from side to side. Awesome. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Rocking and rolling up so you can catch a boat at the top. So balancing on the sit bones. You can hold your boat here, or you can bring the feet down if you want. We're going to take a Russian twist. So hands to heart center. I'm just losing a mic. And we're going to take a lift up on the inhale. Exhale, twisting to one side, tapping down. Inhale to lift. Tap down. So option to have the feet off the ground is obviously a lot harder. Think about lifting up through the chest, finding a nice straight back. That's it, working through the core here, nice and strong. For 10, you've got this. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, keep going. 2, and 1. Awesome, well done. Draw the feet down and just take a little squeeze and a forward fold here through turtle pose. So taking the soles of the feet together, just a little bit of a relief pose. Taking the hands, feeding them behind the knees, reaching underneath the lower leg and taking the hands to the feet. Take a breath in and then release the head down. And Chris says he needs to wash his feet. This is a good chance to inspect those toes. Chin to chest, rounding through the spine, just taking a little bit of space before we have a go at our side crow today. So rolling up when you're ready, let's have a go with wildcard side crow. So I'm just going to talk you through basic side crow, and then we'll whiz through and have a go with that eagle option. So I'm turning to face you so you can see what's happening. I'm going to bind my ankles and my knees together. So I am now a mermaid, okay? I've only got that one limb. Merman behind me. We're going to take a twist through the torso. Now, if the flexibility of the spine is there, you want to bring the left elbow just into that knee crease there, and the right elbow into the right thigh. It might not work for everyone. You might need to take that right hand out a little bit wider. So just as we would in our other balances, we're going to be moving with the crown of the head in the direction that we want to take the balance into. So using the upper arms as our shelf, we're going to squeeze our mermaid or merman tail together. Take a breath, draw up through the belly, squeeze in that pelvic floor and start to float. Okay, now obviously I've been doing this for a while, so I can float straight in. If you're working towards that float, don't jump, okay? You've got to take that squeeze and that gentle movement forwards. Jumping into balances doesn't work to start off with, okay? It's only as you get more proficient that you can take things like that. So start off with that nice low-level balance. So work there, by all means. We've been working on a variation, an eagle variation. So I'll show you what we're doing with this one. If I am stood up, it's a bit easier to come in from standing, I think, from this one. I'm going to take my left leg and wrap it around my right leg. Now you can take a secondary bind with eagle and take the back foot around the back of the ankle, but I find as I come down, I want to take the bind off. But if you're super flexy, go for it. So from this eagle leg, I'm going to come down and I'm going to turn towards my left. So if you've got left leg wrapped, turn to the left. If you've got right leg wrapped, turn to the right. And again, you're taking the elbows underneath the shoulders and from there starting to rock the weight forwards. So you can get that little lift off. Now my legs are behind me at the moment. What I'm aiming to do is bring them out to the side. So it's a bit like a bound angle leg almost because you're having that bind. Okay, but you're taking them out towards the front edge of your mat or the back edge, depending on which way you're facing, and that's what you're aiming for. So it's just a little variation of your eagle pose and your side crow, so it's a bit of a combo. That's it. So take it on both sides. If you want to have a go on the other side, we've got time. So we'll go right leg, over left. So you get that connection there. And then you start to come down into your toe stand. So bringing the left elbow to the front, and we're leaning towards the right. Okay, so hands down, sliding forwards, making that shelf with the upper arms, and then extending the legs out to the side. Oh, I don't think I can get that secondary bind. I always think, oh, I could just...
Did you side crow into headstand?
I'm
not saying you do it, is that?
You could. It'd take a fair bit of...
I'm not about to break the mate. So if I do that, and then put my head down and try to...
Yeah, no, you can do an extension. It's a bit like Fallen Angel when you do that. So Fallen Angel, which is Chris is deciding he's going into, so I'm just bending down to look at what time it is. Yeah, so if you bring the side of your head down, but keep that weight travelling, that's it, travelling through your arms, and then you can push up.
Yes, good.
Okay, so that would work towards Fallen Angel. The easier way to do that would be to keep your lower leg down and extend your top leg. I'll show you.
Oh, it's just going to show now.
Okay, so you're taking both hands down underneath the shoulders, rocking forwards, and then floating down with control onto the side of the head, and then you take just that one leg up.
Alright.
Okay, so that's your Fallen Angel. So you start off in side crow. Side crow can take you all over the place. You can take a flying splits and all over. So have a play, see what you can get your legs to do really. Once you've got the side crow, it's a platform for all sorts. So with that, your legs coming out to the side, you're aiming to take it right up that top one. But again, everybody's bodies are different. Nice work, folks.
I can do that then.
Yeah?
I love that.
You'll have that.
I love that.
He's got a right dab on now.
22?
I know, it's because he's being nice outside. Come on, let's have a stretch out. Come on, you've earned it. Come down onto your mat.
Thank you, Duck.
Have a little roll down. Let's take a happy baby. Peace sign fingers around the big toes. Soles of the feet to the ceiling. Inhale. Nice flat back onto the floor. Holding this pose here, or as I was saying the other day, I really like to extend one leg. You can always drop the other heel towards the groin, and then the other one. So it's just a nice little release into the hammies. But keeping the spine long, so you are having to work the abdominals a little bit here as well, to stop you from rolling to one side. So either holding your happy baby, shoulders heavy, hips down, spine long, or gently rocking from side to side, if you so choose. And then extending your left leg out long, draw your right knee in, wind relieving pose, always funny. Taking the left hand onto the right knee, extending the right arm out, take that breath in, through the mouth that is, and exhale, through the mouth, or nose that is, and taking your spinal twist, keeping the right shoulder heavy, maybe turning the gaze over towards the right fingertips, just having a little stretch out here. One more breath, and then make your way back through center. A little squeeze of the abs just to protect the back. Swap it over, right leg long, left knee in. To make this a bit more juicy, you can flex the right foot, and then moving over towards the right with the left knee when you're ready. Taking the gaze to the left if it feels okay. Yeah, one of my favorites as well. Really nice way to release into the spine.
Oh, that click, that was nice.
And then making your way back to center whenever you're ready. You can ignore me and you can stay here for the rest of the evening if you like.
Okay.
Just want you to find your way into your most comfortable, favored Shavasana position. I am today going for corpse pose. I'm going to mix it up a little bit and take a block underneath my hips. There we go. Melting down. Well done, folks. You can always take the brick between the shoulder blades or behind the back of the head as well. Closing those eyes. Being grateful to the body and the mind for allowing you to do your practice tonight. For flowing so beautifully through your practice. For not giving yourself a hard time. If things don't quite go to plan, maybe add a little wobble in your revolved half moon. Who doesn't? Any old rubbish that's going on in the mind right now, let's just breathe it away. Deep breath into the belly. And out. And you can stay here all night if you like. I'm going to start moving up to seated. Take as many breaths as you need. Maybe start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Maybe start to bring the knees together, drawing them into the chest, making yourself tiny. How tiny can you go? Can you get the chin to the chest and the forehead to the knees without eating the microphone, Jen? I'm going to whisper because I'm so close. Taking a little rock and roll. This is very tiny. And then rocking onto your side or rolling up the spine, coming to seated, finding those sit bones, sorry, turned into C3PO for a sec there. Inhale, rise up with fingertips. Bringing the hands to touch and exhaling those hands down to your heart center. Thanks, guys and girls. Namaste. Thanks, folks. Do more yoga. It's
just so
freaking awesome.
Oh! It's like drugs, allegedly.
Well done, guys.